guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Liz and today is going to be another top 10 recommended, top 10 recommended based on true paranormal stories. So before I start going off in the rest of the video, I will give a disclaimer. This is Hollywood. A lot of the details of these stories are changed. Some movies try to stick as close as possible to the actual story, and some change details. So yeah, just keep this in mind. It is Hollywood movies, either exaggerated or, I'll give you a hint, I think the director was James Wan and tried to stick as close to the actual story. All these movies either fall under the horror, thriller, or drama, or horror/drama genre. So the first movie is The Conjuring. Now, if you watch any of these films, The Conjuring is the best one. I'm sorry. I love this movie so much. I can watch it over and over again. The director, like I mentioned earlier, was James Wan, and he tried to stick to the actual story that this was based off of. I forgot, what was the family's name? The Perron family. And it's either a R-rated R or a PG-13. If that matters for anyone, I either will say it if I remember, and if not, I will pop it up somewhere. So this movie runs about an hour and 52 minutes long. It got an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes and was released in 2013. Now, The Conjuring is a whole series, okay? The Annabelle movies are connected. The Conjuring series, I think there's about 3 Conjuring series and about 3 Annabelle movies. With these lists, I'm not gonna put multiple movies in the same series in one list, because I feel like, one, it's cheating, and 2, the movies I recommend, you're not going to have to watch one to understand the other, So this movie is a period piece that was based in the 1970s following a paranormal investigations of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and it was about a 7-person family. And so they recently moved into this home and they start experiencing like weird phenomenons and can't explain it, and then they seek out the help of Ed and Lorraine Warren. So yeah, that's The Conjuring. So moving on to number 2, Annabelle. Now again, you don't need to watch The Conjuring to understand the Annabelle movie, but it does include Ed and Lorraine Warren. The movie runs about an hour and 39 minutes. It received a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes and was released in 2014. The director was John R. Leonetti, I think. And also the Conjuring series and Annabelle series, they all have a different director for each movie. Like, what's with that? But anyways, so basically this movie follows John and Mia, which are a couple. I think they're married and they're expecting a child. So John has the idea, because the wife loves dolls, hey, let me go get her a doll. And it was creepy as shit. Like, why would you want that? But anyways, yeah, so John gifts Mia this doll. These devil worshippers attack the couple in the middle of the night and tries to kill them, and they summon a demon and they call the police, and the police ended up killing one of the girls while she was holding the Annabelle doll, and then she bleeds and the blood ends into the Annabelle doll, and apparently that's how you transfer a demon from one human body to a doll, if anybody wanted to know. And then the couple start experiencing some paranormal activity, and then they involve a priest, and the priest tries to get involved, and that doesn't go too well for him. And yeah, so in the beginning of The Conjuring, there is a snippet about Annabelle and how she got around. It's never mentioned in the Annabelle movie, and you don't necessarily need to know it. If you're an enthusiast about the Conjuring series and all 6 movies of them, including The Nun, there is a YouTube video that connects all the movies together, and I will link it down below. Moving on to the third movie recommendation, Amityville Horror. Now this movie runs about an hour and 34 minutes long. It received 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was released in 2005, and the director was Andrew Douglas. The movie actually follows pretty closely to the actual family that was involved. So basically this movie follows the Lutz families who moves into a very cheap home and find out that it was very cheaply priced because there was an entire murder that happened, a whole family. And the dad of the family went completely crazy and killed his entire family and claimed the devil made him do it. So basically this family moves in and the exact same thing starts happening to the family, specifically affecting the father of the family. And this is a period piece that is based in 1975. Moving on to number 4, The American Haunting. So this is rated PG-13. It runs about an hour and 33 minutes long. It got rated 14% on Rotten Tomatoes and was released in 2006, and the director was Courtney Salome. This movie is a period piece that is set in 1818. So basically this movie follows the only documented case in Tennessee to report a death that was caused by a spirit. Moving on to number 5, The Haunting in Connecticut. And this movie received a PG-13 rating, and for people who only like to watch R-rated horror movies, this could fit in that category. It's actually a really good scary movie. This movie runs about an hour and 42 minutes. It received a 17% on Rotten Tomato and was released in 2009. The director was Peter Cornwell. This is one of the movies that was very closely similar to the actual family, except for a few details were changed. So basically this movie follows a family, and the son is receiving like cancer treatments, and it's a very far distance for them to travel. So the mother decides to move into a home in Connecticut that was actually closer to the doctor, so he can receive his treatments and not have to travel hours, on end to get back and forth to treatments. And the home ends up being a funeral home. So after a short while, things start happening to the son who is receiving treatment. They start to think that he has a mental disorder and give him medications for that. Moving on to number 6, The Exorcist. There are a few details that were changed to protect the actual identity of the family that was affected. For instance, the sex and the name of the child. In the movie, it's a girl named Reagan, and in the actual story, it was a little boy that ends up getting possessed. But in the actual filming of the movie, a lot of the actors got injured and died during the filming, and pushed back the actual time. But it was pretty insane. They were saying like the set was haunted and a lot of weird things happened during the filming of the movie, if you guys care about that. So when the movie did release, I guess it was stated that people were like passing out and vomiting because it was so scary, and not like any of the scary movies, at least at that time. So I'll give that movie props. It's actually, I really like this movie. This movie is rated R and runs about 2 hours and 12 minutes long. It got 84% on Rotten Tomatoes and was released in 1973. The director was William Friedkin. So basically, Reagan starts acting really weird and begins to levitate, urinate on herself, iconic scene, and speak in tongues. The mother, Ellen, then tries to seek medical professionals, and Reagan gets all these tests done and whatever, CT scans, and nothing comes back. And so then they involve a priest as like her last ditch effort, and the priest then believes that Reagan is possessed by the devil. So the priest then enlists the help of an expert to try to perform an exorcism and exorcise the demon out of Reagan. Well, the devil, actually. It's not a demon, it's the devil. Get the devil out of her. Moving on to number 7, The Rite. This movie is a PG-13. This movie runs about an hour and 54 minutes. It received a 21 on Rotten Tomatoes and was released in 2011. The director was Michael Hostrom. So we have this guy here, right, named Michael, who doesn't believe in anything paranormal. And what does he do? He goes to the Vatican, which is to attend a school of exorcism. Like, if you don't believe in something, just say you don't believe. Do you really have to go to the Church of Vatican to prove like, who does that? Anyways, So Mr. Doubtful Michael goes to the Vatican, the School of Exorcism, because he believes possession is just a troubled mind instead of actual demon. So he ends up following a demon exorcist expert, Father Lucas, and then he begins to question his beliefs. So he follows Father Lucas, right, to all his calls that he gets about potential possessions, and follows him on his exorcism journeys. And then he starts to doubt his actual beliefs. That's what you get. But like, honestly, who like doesn't believe in something so strongly that they're gonna follow around the exorcist? Like, I get that, but like, just stand in your own beliefs. Like, what is that gonna prove, you know? And honestly, people, like, if they have something stuck in their mind and they're not gonna believe in something, and they're just not gonna believe in it, nothing you say, can, or do will change that, and that's okay too. But I don't know why I went off on a tangent. It's just a movie, but like, honestly, a whole movie based on this one guy. Well, these two guys mainly. Anyways, I guess he was just a leading character to then move into the next most important character. Moving on to number 8, The Possessions. This movie was rated PG-13. It runs about an hour and 32 minutes long and received a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was released in 2012. The director was Ol Fornadell. It stars Jeff. So basically, you have this daughter and father relationship, and they go on a yard sale. They find the box, and she really wants it, and he gets it for her, and they bring it home. Well, once she figures out how to open it, things start going crazy, as they normally do in these movies. And they find out it was a Dybbuk box that they opened, which is a box that is used to contain a evil spirit, or, you know, things like that nature, and are not to be opened. They are meant to shut and entrap a demon or spirit, and she just let it loose. So it possesses her. Moving on to number 9, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Of the 10, 3 that are the most closely related to the story are Exorcism of Emily Rose, Haunting in Connecticut, and The Conjuring, which is the most terrifying because, you know, it's pretty bad. If you go online, you can find the actual recordings of, I think her name was Annalise or something like that, the actual girl who got possessed. And there were like recordings, like audio tapes of the actual exorcism, and they're pretty gnarly to listen to. This movie is rated PG-13 and runs about 2 hours and 2 minutes long. It was released in 2005, received a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the director was Scott Derrickson. So basically in the movie, Father Richard was wrongfully convicted for the murder of Emily Rose after the exorcism went wrong. So basically, the prosecuting attorney contends that Emily was schizophrenic and needed medical attention. Now, in the actual case, I believe, once again, her name was Annalise, and yes, the actual father who performed the ritual or the exorcism was convicted and charged for neglect and the murder of Annalise. If her name is wrong, I think that's her actual name, was Annalise, but if not, someone can correct me because I don't remember. But yeah, so basically Annalise was starved to death, but that doesn't explain all the bruising and stuff like that was done to her during the exorcism. It actually wasn't done to her, it was done to her by the demon. And I think the mother also got some type of charge for neglect, but not as bad as the priest who performed the exorcism. You can't really defend yourself in the court of law and say the demon did it. You know, it doesn't go well. The last one is from Deliver Us from Evil. So it is a rated R, and it runs about an hour and 58 minutes long. It received a 29% Rotten Tomatoes. It was released in 2014, and the director was Scott Derrickson as well. So basically, this movie follows a veteran Bronx, New York Police Department sergeant. So basically, it follows one of his weird cases. He ends up bringing it back home with him. The sergeant is pretty skeptical that anything paranormal is happening, but he still tries to communicate with the priest, and the priest tries to convince the sergeant that demons exist. Throughout the movie, his thoughts and opinions do tend to change. There is a film I do want to include as a bonus film, but however, the entire movie is in Spanish. Now, if that doesn't bother you, you could just click on subtitles in English on Netflix, because that's where you can find it, and you'll be fine. I didn't want to put this as a complete movie recommendation. I just wanted to throw that in there as a bonus, because I understand not everybody wants to watch an entire movie in a language they don't understand and have to read subtitles. So the movie is called Veronica. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch this video all the way through, comment down a little ghost emoji and a little film rolling emoji. Like, comment, subscribe, because YouTube makes me say this. Bye.